Good morning, everybody. Dan Harley here. Another special edition of Tech Talk with Dan Harley here on October 8th, 2021. The reason why it's a special edition here is I am transitioning between two VoIP phone services. They are actually two of the most popular VoIP phone services out there. If you don't know what a VoIP phone service is, basically it sounds like voice over IP phone, internet phone, for lack of better terms. I've had a VoIP phone system for almost as long as I've had Prime Concepts here, almost 20 years. And I had been through about 4 different services here. This is my fourth one, maybe fourth or fifth one, something like that. The recent one here. And I felt it's important to do this video because I'm about ready to leave one for the other. And I have a unique opportunity to compare the both here. A little preamble here, maybe kind of a little bit more history about my VoIP experience here. Back a long time ago, we had moved my home office, my business to my home office where I'm at right now, and we ran out of phone lines, copper phone lines. So at the time, VoIP was new. Basically, I never heard of using phone over the internet. Okay, rather you're accustomed to having these two pairs of phone lines come to your house. You plug in your phone, and there you go. So the lots of concerns back then, whether it's going to work or not, quality, so on and so forth. But the fact is, I didn't have an extra pair of copper lines, so I needed to go that. So it turned out to be pretty spectacular. The phone service I used at the time was SunRocket, and at the time it was the second most popular VoIP phone service on the internet there. And I was very delighted with it. I basically had a little phone adapter that plugged the internet in the internet. On the other end was basically my regular phone service. And I ran that for a very, very long time, up until, unfortunately, SunRocket folded, and another company called Telvin picked up SunRocket and ran that for a very, very long time, up until they were really fading out. And all they were really basically fading me, the service at the time was just basically phone. My fax was someplace else, and nothing really fancy services. You know, I had call waiting, call forwarding, stuff like that, but nothing more than that. In fact, at the end there, my voice message wasn't even working. So after that, I switched to RingCentral. It was about 2-3 years ago, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. I went from basically phone to phone plus a bunch of other stuff. I had web meetings. I had e-fax. I had a lot more robust. A lot more robust services through RingCentral, which I was very satisfied with at the time. And I would probably stick with RingCentral had it not been for the fact and I'll be upfront, I just became a partner with Ooma, which is another very large VoIP phone service. In fact, they are probably as big or maybe a little bit bigger than RingCentral. The reason why I went with them is I had some clients that were having a problem with phones and their phone system, and I was looking for an option. And me being what I do, being internet consulting, trying to find solutions for my clients there, I looked around. First, I went to RingCentral, and I'll be up front, I couldn't get a straight answer from them. So to try to help my clients out here with their phones, so I didn't realize I actually signed on with Ooma as a partner several years ago. I forgot about that. So I called them up and they kind of reintroduced what's going on, tell me what's happening. And it turned out to be a really, really, really immediately a great relationship. I was able to port over. A lot of my clients were on older systems, older POTS, what's called a POT system, plain old telephone system, old copper line system, old PBX systems, over to new modern, not just a VoIP system, a very, very modern VoIP system, very easy to use, very easy to install, easy to use, and actually a bit cheaper too. So, and in turn, it came out to me, eventually I need to move over. So, and then again, I was pretty happy with RingCentral until I started getting into the bills and stuff like that. I'll be up front, I was a little bit upset because I'm paying a lot of money where I didn't have to. So anyway, I'm at the point here. And just to let you know up front here, I'm going to be biased because I'm now Ooma representative. So I'm going to probably trash RingCentral a little bit more than I expected. Most people, just to let you know, because I'm leaving RingCentral, but I want you to see the both ends of it here. So I'll try to be as clinical as possible at both ends. Anyway, I'm going to go desktop and show you what's going on. Bear with me. I'm going to pop both the services up. You'll see there's something else here too. With both the services, I don't have a physical phone in my office. Everything's virtual. I have these apps on my phone, apps on my desktop, as well as back office features. I'm going to show you the apps on my desktop as well as the back office features right now. So anyway, we're going to go desktop and show you what's going on here. Okay, what you're seeing here are the two apps. Okay, desktop apps. This is how basically I answer my phone. When the phone rings here, I pick it up, ring it, and it goes through my headset here. And most people don't realize don't have a phone I'm picking up and putting them next to my ear here. It's basically through the computer. I also have the same apps on my cell phone here. So I'm able to, if somebody rings my business phone, first of all, they be picked up by the automated attendant and then forwarded to my extension. And that extension rings on my desktop, on my app at the same time. So basically, no matter where I'm at, I get a phone ring, which is fantastic. It's something you can't do with the old POT systems very well, or the old PBX systems, which is pretty much a standard feature when you deal with VoIP phone systems here. Okay, now you can see here the desktop has quite a bit different, basically kind of the same features, same services, but laid out a little bit different here. Okay, to make a phone call with RingCentral here, I click the little button here and a little dial pad eventually here, and then I press the button and it picks up the phone. Kind of same thing over here with Ooma. Dial the phone number and pick up the phone. By the way, here too, hoping I don't share too much private information. I'm just kind of doing this somewhat live here. Anyway, you got so bear with me. If you see somebody's phone number there, don't call them. Don't call them. Okay. So anyway, something else here we have too with VoIP systems. You have a video conferencing. Okay, I'll show you here. You can schedule meetings. Remind me later here. Anyway, you can do like a Zoom meeting. In fact, RingCentral had rebranded Zoom for their own use, which was pretty cool. But then they went with their own meeting system here, and it wasn't as good. And anyway, the same thing here with Ooma. They have their own virtual meeting system here. You can see it's fairly easy to put together. And bear with me; it's going to take a little bit to load this one up. Start a meeting, schedule a meeting, join a meeting, same thing. Okay, just kind of same different situations. Advantage of all these virtual meetings here, as we have been accustomed to using, because of COVID, a lot of us were locked down in our office, so we got really used to Zooming everything, doing Zoom meetings. That's essentially what these are, as your own private virtual meeting sites here, built into the service. Okay, and these same features are also on my phone too, so I can actually have virtual meetings right off my smartphone. Okay, on either system. Like I said, both these systems, RingCentral used to use Zoom, but they've stopped using it in favor of their own system, and we've had some issues with that. And once again, I'm a Zoom representative now, so I'm probably going to knock down RingCentral a bit more than a little bit biased against RingCentral here. One of the issues we had with the RingCentral meetings is we kept on dropping meetings all the time. And I use this feature in Zoom as well as these virtual meetings all the time, because I have a virtual assistant. And we talk all the time like this. And when these meetings go out, it's really cumbersome, annoying, waste a lot of time. So we need this thing reliable. That's the nice thing about Zoom. It's almost bulletproof. And same thing we're finding with Ooma. It's been a lot higher quality of meetings. We don't get dropped. In fact, we never got dropped on Ooma so far. And the audio video is just fantastic with them. A little bit of drawback. We wish kind of both of them are lacking some features that Zoom actually has. So, but other than that, for a virtual meeting rooms, both them services have something that's really needed across the board. I'll give Ooma a little bit of a bump, and once again, a little bit biased about that here too. Voicemail, both of them have voicemail here, and it's just laid out a little bit different. It's a little bit tough to find the voicemail in RingCentral. You have to go to your phones and go through your here and dig down a little bit. Okay, where you can see here is really, really easy. By the way, here too, I could also record all the phone calls, any incoming, outgoing. Oops, sorry. On both systems. Okay, it's and so this is something that's featured across the board. Contacts. I basically pull my contacts in from my my Android my Google Contacts for that. Workspace. I don't use that a lot. Basically, it's essentially like Outlook. If those folks you are familiar with that, this is it basically connects to Outlook and stuff like that. Ooma has something similar to that, but I don't use it as much. Okay, so analytics and stuff like that, apps. I think RingCentral has a availability to build in some apps in here. Ooma doesn't quite have that. This is something I never really used, so I'm not sure. I'll give RingCentral a nod on that. Probably somebody's a little bit something that some people that really get in the system here might find that more beneficial. Analytics, basically your call in and voicemails and stuff like that. The same thing with Ooma. They've got a similar situation here. For the most part, like I say, the feature, the services are essentially the same, both in Ooma and RingCentral. It's just the difference in trying to access them. I feel that Ooma is a little bit cleaner to work with. You can see when making calls or bump up right there, send text messages, meetings, so on and so forth. They make it simplified. Here's a drawback. When you simplify, you usually bury certain features. Where in RingCentral, you basically have the same thing, probably a little bit more cumbersome to deal with. This apps thing, which I don't use a whole lot, it's right front and center. Okay. So and you see, oh, by the way, audio conferencing, these are basically conference calls, and you can see you can bump it right here, right out with Ooma. I do have a conference call system in RingCentral, but it's buried somewhere. I haven't been unsuccessful using it somewhere. I believe I have a phone number somewhere that I can use to, basically a mutual phone number I can use for my audio conferencing. So this is pretty cool if you want to grab one or several people on a quick conference call. Instead of trying to go the conference stuff, you click on here, there's the number there. And then you send people the link or the phone number, and you're ready to go. Where in RingCentral, I know I have it, I just don't use it very much. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna jump back to the back office for both the systems here real quick. So bear with me. Let me go bury this real quick. All right. This stuff RingCentral, basically, like I say, basically they both have the same features more or less. Just laid out a bit different. You can see RingCentral. This is RingCentral's my back office for RingCentral, and my back office for Ooma here. You can see Ooma's more simplified. Okay. And RingCentral got a lot of stuff going on here. Not quite as simplified. You have meetings and reports and billings and stuff like that. Ooma's got the same thing, but it's more or less dealing with phone calls or emails or whatever right off. Everything's the similar features: call logs, virtual fax. And by the way, also too, one of the reasons why RingCentral is a little bit more expensive, I got charged for our eFax, where Ooma doesn't. It's part of the package. So and it is what it is. So, but they basically work the same. Both of them have electronic fax or eFax available. And Ooma, basically every extension you get, every person you put on Ooma here has their own virtual fax, their own virtual conference system, so on and so forth. Where RingCentral, they kind of charge a dime for that stuff here too. Which again, it's not, for me as a one-man operation, that adds up, because it means I got to pay for the fax or pay for the conference call, so on and so forth. Whereas a bigger company, you pay for it once and that's it. Where in Ooma, if you have 10 people, they all have 10 virtual faxes or 10 conference systems, so on and so forth. It's part of each one of the individual seats. So, like I say, the licensing's a little bit different. But the actual service is essentially the same. eFax, conference calls, phones. Now, to get you can get very sophisticated with either one of these systems here. RingCentral has the auto attendant, you can see around here somewhere, and you can set different extensions, and the extension go a phone number, like some virtual phone, or a physical phone, or a combination, or send out to my cell phone. Both of them do the same thing. It's the be able to set them up is significantly different. I actually had to get, every time I need to configure my RingCentral system, I had to call support for them. And mind you, I'm pretty articulate when it comes to technology stuff. So, and I did everything I can to do it myself. All the time I had to call support. Whereas Ooma, it's almost self-explanatory. If I wanted a new extension, like I said, settings here and extensions, and add an extension here. And then I can add fax receptionist, so on and so forth. A lot of stuff in here right away, where it was a little bit cumbersome with RingCentral. You can do the same thing. Eventually, they all both work the same way. It's just a little bit easier to do it with Ooma. Okay, adding phone numbers, so on and so forth. You can see here it's right up straightforward here. Where Ooma is probably not as straightforward. But then again, they're looking for, you can add numbers and toll-free numbers. Yeah, I guess you can do the same thing here. So again, it's different layouts. You can see in RingCentral and Ooma here. So you can see, from my perspective, my opinion here, you really got to know what you're doing. You got to have some tutorial or somebody holding your hand to get through this stuff here. I don't, like most people, this is something I'm common with most other people. Once I deal with the phone system, I just leave it be. I don't mess with it for a long time. And then because of that, because I don't mess with it for a long time, I forget how to use certain things. So it's important to make things easy. So you get back to it, need to change something, you don't have to go dig around anywhere, you don't call support all the time. Unfortunately, I tell you up front here, I have to call support almost every time I try to change my system with RingCentral. With Ooma, I really have to. Even with my bigger clients that you work with, I just ported over a client with 40 phone numbers here. Now, granted, I did work with support a lot, but a lot of the stuff we did, I was doing on my own for them. And then on top of that, now we hand it off. It only took maybe a day or two to do the entire porting of the 40-some-odd numbers. And their IT people handled the rest of it with almost very, very easy to put together compared to our RingCentral's experience. And bear with me, and let me add something here too. When I transitioned from Teleblend to RingCentral, it took about a month to resolve all this. Not all RingCentral's fault. They were pretty helpful in trying to get the phone number to port over. And let me tell you what porting is. Basically taking your phone number from a previous phone company into a new phone company. It should be, it really, by law, it should be done within a week or two, really with no hassles. But because of the company you're working with, and basically one-man operation, very hard to get a hold of, it took a long time to get these people to respond. So I got kudos to RingCentral for figuring that out. Once we set it up here, it took me a couple weeks to get my virtual assistant set up, a virtual phone number set up, so on and so forth. And once it's done, it's done. But with Ooma, it took me maybe an hour to do everything I needed to do, including my virtual assistant, so on and so forth. So I'll be up front. It was much, much easier working with Ooma. Okay. So that is that. Okay, once again, here's RingCentral's back office. I won't dig too far, but you can have a good idea what's sitting up here. Features and functions, business hours, caller ID, greetings, directory assistance, add phone numbers, manage devices, call groups, ring groups, so on and so forth. Phone numbers, reserve numbers, billing, all that stuff. It's all here. You can see you have redundancy reports and stuff like that. Ooma, this is a different setup. Here's the dashboard. This is what you usually see when you log in, and you see deals with phone calls. Make a call, send fax, so on and so forth. Call logs, settings, accounts. If you want to buy something, it's all there. It's fairly easy, much better layout. So, like I said, it is what it is with that. Okay, let's go back to the apps here. So usually the back office I don't mess with very often, either one of the services. It's the app that we deal with. And and let me kind of tell you how I set up both systems here. This system here is somebody calls in, first of all, they hit my virtual assistant, and then it automatically rings to a desktop app or my phone. Nice, convenient. I can be anywhere. I get a business call in, and it's from my business line. Okay. With Ooma, same thing. Well, it actually has a little bit different here. I can set up a virtual assistant and have the different accents. I have a variety of different, like 12 different accents, including Australian, English, male and female, so on and so forth. And all I need to do is type a text message into it, and it automatically transcribe it into that said language. And it adds a little bit more finesse to my greetings. Whereas RingCentral, I had to create my own greeting. It's okay. I do it all the time anyway. But this is something, if you're not accustomed to, or you don't like your own voice on recorded voice, RingCentral might be an issue, because they don't really have a text to speech synthesizer like Ooma does for a lot of their stuff. Like I say, I think personally, Ooma has been much easier to work with. The layout, it really comes down to layout. They both basically do the same thing, but the layout, accessing certain key features, much easier in Ooma than RingCentral. I got both of them from being very reliable. I don't recall a time where RingCentral has ever gone down. Where I had problems with Teleblend, I obviously had problems with SunRocket. That's the reason why I went to Teleblend. And there are lots and lots of problems with the old POT system. One of my clients just transferred over for Frontier. Frontier had them down for 2-3 days. The entire phone system down for 2-3 days. No voicemail, no forward or anything. It just destroyed their business. Where Ooma, and both, like I say, RingCentral never had a problem with Ooma. I've only had it for 2-3 weeks, so I can't say, yeah, it's been reliable. I can't say it's been as reliable as RingCentral because I haven't had it long. But both systems are, kudos to both these systems. Both these companies are really big, so they have multiple server locations co-located. So they're going to be extremely reliable, being with uptime. In fact, one of the issues I chose Ooma over other VoIP systems, including and RingCentral and Ooma are kind of the ones I'm looking at, is because of the reliability. Ooma has a long, strong tech rate. A lot of awards for it, like 6 or 7 years straight reward with PC Magazine, being the top VoIP company on the internet. That goes a long way. Okay, I didn't really think much about that, but when you once or twice is great, but when you do 6 or 7 years in a row, that kind of says something. And the bigger companies be up front because they have the resources. You want that, especially if you really rely on your phone system being up. One of the clients, they have a dispatch center, which they absolutely have to be up and going all the time. And that's the reason why we chose Ooma, because we knew we said this is going to be a non-issue. It's going to be up. It's going to be up. It's going to be up. In fact, they have 5 or 6 different ways of making sure the system stays up. Whereas the previous system, they did not. So that's something to think about. So anyway, to recap everything, let me back to the studio. Okay, to finish everything up here, like I say, this is a unique experience. I'm about ready to cancel Reach Local out. So About a day after this, you won't have my opportunity to show you Reach Local anymore. So I hope you folks out there find this beneficial. And if, like I say, if you have phone issues, and I didn't realize how so many people had phone issues out there. That's the reason why I went to Ooma. It's been, as a reseller partner with them, it's been a really rewarding experience. And I'll tell you something here too. I'm essentially a one-man operation. I got people offshore everywhere, do a lot of my other internet-related stuff. When it comes to phones, this is my concerns here. Usually, you do phones. And that's it. You don't do anything else because it's very labor-intensive. You have to program the phones, deliver the phones, install the phones, run wires, so on and so forth. So you physically have to be around. Advantage of the VoIP systems here is you basically plug them in. You take the phone, you plug them into internet on one end, and the other end is your computer. Very, very easy to install. My first client with Ooma, they actually had the phones delivered to them. They installed it. So I wasn't really involved with installation. Very, very easy to do. 6 phones, they did it themselves. And obviously saved a lot of time and labor on that too. And last but not least is price. Now, this is going to be different from person to person, business to business here. My personal situation, I was really disappointed when I found out RingCentral was charging me probably twice as much as I probably should be charged for a phone service. Now, it's not a lot. We're talking $60, okay, where I should be charging maybe $30. So it's not going to break my bank just because I went to RingCentral over Ooma or vice versa. But there's a lot of these things that I was getting charged in RingCentral that Ooma doesn't charge. Now, it could be different from customer to customer, business to business, so on and so forth. That's the reason why it's be prudent to talk to somebody like me or somebody else, a consultant, and kind of pull everything together, pull all your needs together, and find the right phones you need, what you have already there, and use them, reuse them, or have to buy new phones. If you need to if you have new network wiring or whatever, that all could be add up. Okay. But I'd be upfront for the most part. I've been extremely satisfied with Ooma as much as I've been extremely satisfied with RingCentral when I left the other system. And so, anyway, that is my biased opinion on RingCentral and Ooma. If you have any questions or concerns, by all means, drop me a name and send me an email, danharley@primeconcepts.net. Go to our website, primeconcepts.net. Leave a comment, do a thumbs up, all that good stuff. Okay. If you have any issues with your phone system and so forth, I'd be more than happy to help you. Our initial consultation is always free. Any consultation after that is always free too. We just specifically want to help you, get you from point A to point B as efficiently, economically as possible, and hopefully you're prosperous at the end. So anyway, that's it for this episode of Tech Talk. Thank you, folks, for hanging on here, listening, and hopefully be educated a little bit. And look at this channel for the next episode. I am going to be popping it up a bit more often as I'm finding more time to do this. Okay, that's it. Thanks a lot, and good luck and Godspeed, all your success. We'll see you next time.